Hey guys, and welcome to episode 11, Stepping Out of the Dark. Starting off this episode, I have a song for you guys that is pretty relevant to today's episode and the current energy for a lot of us. And it is going to be Free Fall by K Tronada featuring Durand Bernard. And you can kind of hear it. But I like it a lot, and I actually posted it on Insta stories with the photo today. But the chorus says, "I just want to let go, free fall. I don't want to not trust no one." Right? It's like we have all experienced so much to where we feel like we've had to watch, both sides up and down, around the corner, and everything else because we're not really sure who's who and what is what. But that's the beauty of where we are now, currently, presently, is that we have been able to see things in a different way or a different perspective. So today's episode is titled Stepping Out of the Dark because that's what we're doing at this time. The darkness is being illuminated with our light that we have chosen to step into and truly embrace. And with this, we all are going to experience the ups and downs, right? Darkness is not really ever going to be anything good that's going to bring us fulfillment unless it's like a sexual pleasure, you know. Sexual energy is forms of darkness, but again, it's all how you choose to use energy. All right. So, new energy is coming in that brings light to many of the things that you've been feeling in the dark about. Okay. A lot of things that you've been up in the air, just really unclear, uncertain, confused, maybe frustrated. A lot of that energy has began to shift for us. And the things or situations that surface at this time are all meant to bring us more into a balance. Okay. So I'm actually recording today's episode on the 7th of February. We have a full moon on February 9th, and that full moon is in Leo. Okay. So something that you really want to pay attention to during this full moon is you releasing things that are not really true to yourself or who you identify with as now and the person that you're trying to evolve into. And I say that because when you really look into Leo energy, and to my Leos out there, I'm not trying to offend anyone. But again, with everything, there's good and bad to everything. So when we're looking on the lower vibrational side of Leo energy, Leos have a tendency to it's kind of like a go with the flow, but it's more of like being able to adapt to what is around them in sort of a form of like a reptile, like a chameleon, right? They can change their color to blend in with their surroundings. And Leos do that very well, depending on who they're around or what they're around. If something or someone intrigues them, they kind of conform to that and try to imitate that in some way. Okay. Now, again, that's like one of the lower vibrational traits of Leo. But for someone who is, evolving and conscious and healing, that person, those layers are starting to fall off. The layers that they identified themselves with that really didn't belong to them, right? So, for example, if this is going to be a very basic example because I'm not trying to really go into a lot of things. But for example, like my mother never liked cabbage growing up, right? And so instead of me, seeing if I liked it myself, I just kind of X'd it out of my foods as well. I'm like, oh, well, I don't like it. And I didn't like it because my mother didn't like it. And then I didn't try cabbage for the first time until like I met Janae. and I don't mind it. And it just was kind of like I realized in that moment, like, there are certain things in my life that I am not doing, or I'm saying that I don't like, or, I don't involve myself with, simply based off of like other people, because other people didn't have a good experience with it, or didn't like it, or it didn't serve them. That doesn't mean that it won't serve you. So that's what I'm saying. We're shaving away, we're peeling away those layers of us that have been connected to other people's identity, or other people's, energy in some way. And that's what I'm saying about the Leo energy. We all, as human beings living through this human experience, we are pretty much feeling the energy of every sign. Okay. And that's why if you go look at the monthlies, if you guys have not checked out the monthly zodiac readings, I've done all 12 signs, and they are all posted up on the Evolving Spiritually Tarot channel. For those of you who have been around for a while, it's the old channel. Okay. I'm back on the old channel. For others of you, you can find the link in the description box. Okay. Now, with that said, that's why most people can usually go to almost any sign reading and it relates in some way, because we're all passing through, energy that is similar. With monthlies, what it helps to do is it helps to kind of separate and differentiate the scenarios that different signs may be going through. But overall, we're all going to be having the same collective energy. And I can say, after doing all 12 signs, we're all pretty much on the surface level dealing with needing to release something, or someone that's not serving us, something or someone that's continued to hold us back and keep us in this place of feeling stuck, or pulled one way and then pulled the other way, and having to choose between yourself and other things that are not, that are outside of you. So again, we're all experiencing things in one way or another, but we have to acknowledge the good and bad in our lives, regardless of what our sign is, regardless of who we are. And when we're able to do that, we can bring light to reality, if that makes sense. Like, to consistently be in a place where you don't want to see the bad, or you don't want to acknowledge the bad, is like not a healthy place, because it's like enabling unhealthy habits, unhealthy traits, right? It's like, I was about to go too real on that example, and I'm not trying to get that deep in my examples, because today's been a little energy shifting day for me, and people are testing me. People are testing me today. So I'm not trying to go in on something, because I know I'm going to go all the way in, and I'm really choosing peace right now, okay? But niggas got me fucked up. That's all I got to say. And maybe some of that is my fault for allowing people to think that they can have me fucked up like that. But all right. The example I'm trying to give you guys is, let's say that you are seeing that something that someone is doing is bad, and it affects multiple people, or it just has a very negative effect, and you keep choosing to turn a blind eye to it. It's like you're kind of adding on to the problem by not speaking up, by not saying something, by not, pointing it out. And I know some people get into this space of feeling like, well, not everything needs to be commented on or called out. And you're correct. You're right. And that's a lesson that I've learned within this year, especially, being with Janae. We're kind of opposite in that sense. Like, I'm very outspoken and she's kind of more relaxed and easygoing. But don't get it twisted, because, if you get it messed up, then, she's going to put you where you need to be. But see, I'm like that from the jump. So I get it. Not everything does require a reaction. But whatever this is, whatever you guys or we all have been experiencing, this is going to be something that we don't have that sort of voice to stand up for ourselves. Or I'm not going to say we don't. In the past, we did not use that energy wise enough to speak up or stand up or set boundaries for ourselves. And now it's getting to this part or point where you have to start calling shit out. Okay, especially if it's having a negative effect on yourself or anything that you are involving your energy with, because for so long we have all taken the blame for things that really didn't belong to us, and now is the time to not really carry that weight anymore. Okay, so let me pull more cards on this and see what else we have coming out. I do have a journal question for you guys and 3 affirmations that I will say at the end of the episode. So don't worry. I know I've been slacking on that a little bit, but let's see what we have here. So we do have the Page of Cups and the Moon out. And so that's, again, telling me that there's some sort of new energy that is coming into play. There's new opportunities. There's new situations or people entering your life. And whatever these things are that are coming up to the surface or appearing, really make sure that you're paying attention, because there's still some sort of, with the Moon card, there's still some sort of secrets, or there's still something that's being hidden beneath the dark or beneath the surface. That's what I meant. Now, it would be tied to some dark energy, but I'm going to keep pulling on this. So the Page of Cups is then clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. So yes, there's something that's making its way to you, or there's something that's been trying to make its way to you. And for a lot of us, it's just that new flow of energy that we need in order to push us closer to that manifestation that we've been trying to bring in, right? But this Knight of Pentacles says that obviously there's been some sort of delays. There's been some sort of stagnation within, things actually manifesting physically. And the Moon is now clarified by the 2 Pentacles, because something just hasn't made sense. Something has not added up enough for you to find the balance that you need to move forward. Okay. Now, when I say this, let me break it down and let me really explain to you why there are delays or have been delays, and why things like this can keep you from forward movement. Okay. Now, if you are in this place where you're feeling stuck and you're like, okay, I've literally done and I'm doing everything that I can to try to bring in new things and new energy into my life, the reason why this one thing or whatever the situation is stopping multiple areas of your life is because it has the ability or power to completely override your fulfillment. Okay, so let me break that down even more. If you are sitting here asking God for a life with a healthy relationship, right, and a successful career and stability and peace, right, and you are still allowing Beavis and Butthead and everybody else in their dysfunction and their problems to intervene with that energy, it's going to take away from you actually enjoying your fulfillment. Okay. I've said this a lot on the channel and given the example of Cardi B. She's the best person that I can give this example from, and not to bring any of all of that up in here. Okay. But Cardi B did say one time that she was in a place where she realized she had every single thing that she had been praying for, but she wasn't even being grateful for it or really getting the fulfillment out of it, because she was letting other things and other people ruin it for her, right? So it's like you getting to this place of success, of accomplishment, but not in a place spiritually or emotionally where you don't allow people to ruin that for you or from you. I'm getting tongue tied. Oh my God. I'm getting tongue tied. Because I'm really trying to explain this, and it's like something is not wanting me to just say it. It's kind of like getting to a place and doubting yourself or underestimating yourself, and someone or something knows how to get you into this place of insecurity, of worry, of doubt. Excuse me. Okay, so let's say that you finally get this career that you want, making the money that you have been trying to manifest, and your best friend says, "Oh, like, who are you to have that or deserve that? Like, dang, you're making a lot of money and you don't even know what to do with it, or da da da." Like, making you feel like you are not deserving of that, even if it's not a best friend, if it's a coworker, if it's a family member, or something like that. Anyone that tries to come and discourage you, those things can get into your head, right? And I actually want to read a tweet that I posted yesterday. It was something I reposted. It wasn't my tweet, but it made a lot of sense. I guess her name is Court, and her name on Twitter is @BougiePsychic. And she wrote and said, manifestation tip. A lot of people want the best for you as long as it's not better than what they have. While you're still owning your manifestation space, I suggest not announcing to people what it is that you want or are doing until you have it. And then she also said, I'm not saying people have power over you. As humans, I'm not saying that people have power over you, but humans can sabotage themselves in order to be accepted by the ones they love. If there is a chance the body may receive less love from the ones they care about, if they receive that manifestation, the body may value love over itself. Okay, right. So what I'm saying is, I've personally experienced that last year, maybe even going towards the end of 2018, when I felt like I was like at the peak of my career, pretty much. And I allowed my family to get back in my head and make me feel like what I was doing was wrong. And because they look at all of this stuff as like witchcraft and, oh, you're celebrating the devil, or you're like, what? You don't even listen to my stuff to even know what I do, And you would be surprised that, I don't know, people, I don't have time for that. Like I said, I digress, okay? But obviously I was weak enough back then to let that get into my head enough to make me start doubting myself and what I was doing. And for a lot of you, you saw the repercussions of, or you saw the result of people getting in my head and making me feel like I shouldn't be doing or shouldn't have what I have. And I went through a roller coaster of emotions. One moment I was posting, the other moment I was like, nope, I'm not doing this. And then I was back, and then because I allowed other people to try to control my life. Okay. And people do it in many different ways. It doesn't have to be something that they're physically showing you. People can try to sway and manipulate you with their actions and with their words. And I wrote on Facebook today, because once again, Kayla is over it. Okay. I wrote and I put that, I'm sorry I gave a lot of y'all whatever impression you have of me, but I know one thing. A lot of y'all have me all the way confused. I'm not the one. I will call you out on your toxic shit and not feel bad when you play the victim role. Because anyone who announces and threatens their life with suicide is more than likely someone crying for attention from people they know will drop everything and feel sorry for them. People who are really in a dark place, they don't say anything at all because they feel like no one cares about them. But hiding behind labels because you don't want to own up to your own responsibilities are toxic. When there are really people out here who are suffering from severe depression and suicide attempts. So shame on you, and know that when shit really hits the fan, no one is going to believe you, because pulling the victim card every week gets old and unbelievable, right? And I think we can all relate to someone in our life that plays a victim role. Maybe they don't go to the extent of pulling the suicidal threat, but a lot of people do. They hide behind these labels of depression and everything else to try to manipulate other people's emotions to get them to do what they want them to do, right? If somebody feels embarrassed or feels ashamed of something, of doing something they know they shouldn't have done, if they don't want to feel that, they will flip the script and really make it about something else so that they don't have to own up to that. Okay. And so what I'm saying is that energy is present in the spread. In whatever way this resonates with you, someone or something has a way of attempting to twist and turn your emotions, and it slows you down, or it kind of puts you on pause and makes you start to feel imbalanced. All right. So the Knight of Swords is then clarified by the King of Swords. So this is where the communication part comes in on your end. That's what I was saying. That's where you guys have to start really speaking up for yourself. Right? At one point, we all felt like we didn't have a voice, like no one cared to hear us, but that was because maybe we weren't speaking up like we needed to, or in a beneficial way that was healthy, right? I remember there were times that I felt like I was speaking up and telling people about themselves, but I wasn't doing it in a way that anyone would listen, right? And it's all about how you go about communicating and setting boundaries. If you start yapping off at the mouth and being rude from the jump and yelling and being aggressive, you're already going to have that person disconnected, because like who wants to deal with that unless that person is just as petty and they ready for you, you know? But then again, an eye for an eye leaves everyone blind and you're just in a bunch of shit. So now's the time to exercise healthy boundaries and healthy communication when it comes to letting people know this is not cool anymore. You know, I can't connect in this way with you anymore because we're just on two different vibrations, or whatever it may be. Or you're not going to continue to take advantage of me because I will not allow you to use me in that way anymore. You know, speaking up and not being afraid to do so. I think everyone is going to have a little fear in them to actually speak up to things and people that may have held some sort of intimidation energy with them, but you'll realize real quick that a lot of these people are just bluffing, right? A lot of people are just bluffing, and the bigger you are, the harder you fall. My mother always taught me that. The person with the loudest mouth is the main one that's not going to do anything. Sometimes you just got to start meeting these people, you know, in different ways than they expect you. And I guarantee you, a lot of shit is going to get cut out. Okay? Because the Two of Pentacles, look, the moon, Jesus. This full moon energy must be, it's coming in. It's already, you know, stirring up some shit. But this moon with the Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords, like, that's not going to be good cards to me at all, because there's lying, there's manipulation, there is some sort of, you know, mask. Something or someone around you that you're connected to within your energy is throwing you off because they're not truly showing themselves, right? But also some of you are not showing yourself either, and that's why people keep having you fucked up, right? And that's what I was saying in the beginning of like my Facebook message. Like, I apologize for allowing you to get me fucked up, because, you know, people just, and I can acknowledge that. I'm sorry I gave you the impression that you could do me like that, speak to me like that, treat me like that. But I'm going to let you know now, I'm not the one. And I'm going to call you out on it. And at this point, no one likes the truth. Okay? And if you do like the truth, then you are on my vibration. You're on my vibration. So I don't expect anyone to like anything I have to say out of my mouth anymore. And you know what? I don't care. Because I cared for too long. And I'm sure you have cared for too long. But the Seven of Swords, something ain't right here. There's something sneaky going on. I don't like it. Now we have the Fool and the Five of Swords. Right, needing to take a risk. There's something you need to take a risk on. There's something you need to be about. Whatever it is you've been talking about, whatever it is you've been working towards, whatever it is you've kind of been putting on hold because maybe you were waiting for something, it's time for you to start putting things in motion because there is a risk that is going to be required in order for you to get to this other side of where you want to be. And the risk is leaving this behind, seeing the truth of whatever this conflict is that you've been dealing with and moving to another side of it. Because the Five of Swords, again, that's the eye for an eye card. An eye for an eye, it leaves everyone blind. Both people get hurt. There's no point in sitting here and trying to fight this or anything like that. Because again, you're only gonna get hurt. You have the Fool with the Nine of Wands, the Five of Swords with the Nine of Swords. Oh my God, this other side is just not letting up. These cards are just coming out. So the Fool with the Nine of Wands, yes, with the risk, you have a fear. The fear is the Nine of Wands, the fear that you're going to have to step up and do things that maybe you don't feel that confident in because they're unfamiliar. But this is God, this is Spirit saying right here that you are ready. You're more than capable. You're more than prepared. So no, you don't have to sit here and tolerate the same old things that you've been always tolerating because you're used to it or that's just how it goes. Not anymore. It's only like that if you decide to keep allowing it. Now, me saying that and looking at this energy, what popped in my head, and I was actually speaking to Janae about this a couple days ago, is I used to mention my best friend. He was a Taurus, and I told you guys a couple episodes ago we are no longer really like communicating because he said some fucked up shit. So I remember back in 2016, I was dealing with Scorpio, and he had told me, like, Kayla, why are you giving all the power to him? Like, why are you letting him be the person that makes the decisions while you just sit around and wait for him to either get your hopes up or to disappoint you? And I had to sit on that for a while. Like, why? Why was I allowing someone to make a decision on how I was going to feel? Right? And I mean, I still didn't really grasp that concept until a while after that. But now I truly get it. And I think that's something that obviously I want to share with you guys because that's the realest thing ever, whether it's a relationship or just life in general. Don't forget that you have rights. You have say-sos. You have the right to choose what you want and don't want in your life. Can you do that for other people? No. That's when it's wrong. But you choosing things for yourself, there is nothing wrong with that. And you do not have to wait for someone to make a decision. If you want something, then go get it. And if someone's not giving it to you, then go get it from someone else. Right? You want to be happy. You want to be in a committed relationship. You want that sort of peace of mind and trust. And you know it's not coming from Tom. Okay, well, tell Tom to kick rocks because he is holding up space and you trying to manifest and bring something new into your life. Okay, now I'm gonna get real. Okay, now we're gonna get real on the love section because people have been booking private sessions left to right like crazy. And I just mentioned on the last episode that the reason my prices were so high was because I was attracting people who wanted me to read on like low vibrational things. And lo and behold, my $40 special has attracted people like that again. reading on exes that are married and things like that. And I'm not putting those people down. What I'm saying is, if you are sitting here asking a question that you already know, baby, you already know it. If that person has revealed to you their truth in any way, and you've seen that side of them, that's all you need to see. Truly. And sometimes that just like, it blows my mind. Not saying that you need to give up on people quickly, but if somebody has shit in your face, believe me, they're gonna keep doing it because you let them. And sometimes these people are people that we feel like we need or we want. And if you feel like you need or you want somebody like that and you can't live without them, then you need to leave them alone and work on yourself, because becoming that codependent on a person is unhealthy. Feeling like I can't move on until I know if this person really cared about me is basically saying that you still feel some unworthiness within yourself. You're still blaming yourself, when at the end of the day, it's about coming to the realization of like, that wasn't for me. Because if that was for me, it would have been right. It would have been healthy. And I'm telling you guys, I don't sit up here and say things that I don't know. When things are right, they flow and they align without any sort of confrontation, without any sort of dysfunction, without any sort of drama. If you guys hear that little squeaky noise, it's very windy outside, so it's making noise. But that's the truth. The relationships and the connections, even friendships for me in the past that were not for me, there were difficulties. And you're going to have difficulties in almost everything that you connect with, but it's different, right? Like the difficulties I go through with Janae are things that we can get through. We're not sitting here disrespecting each other. We're not sitting here lying to each other, ghosting each other, cheating on each other. If any sort of dysfunction that we have, it's because I probably smacked my mouth or, said some shit off the top of my head when I shouldn't have. Okay. And for her, it's probably because she don't say something when I want her to say something, But that's to be expected. That's what I'm saying. At first, when we first got together, that was very triggering. But we're two people who choose each other and understand that we are still working through trauma from our past, because we both had fucked up pasts with relationships. But my whole point is, no matter who it is, if that person really deserved you and wanted to be with you, they would do what it takes to be with you, right? Janae dropped her entire life and moved to Colorado with me in the beginning. Whereas relationships before that, they wanted me to do everything, to change and adjust my life and myself to better suit them, right? Janae doesn't try to change me. Janae doesn't say you're too much of this or you're too much of that. And like, no. And so, like I said, with any relationship, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, I have this great relationship. Because like I said, no, we're two human beings. We're both still healing. We're both still going through things that trigger each other. But we still choose each other. We still have a respect for each other. And if you are connecting with someone, and I don't care if it's a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship, and these people are doing things to you that you wouldn't even ever imagine doing to them, that's when the line is crossed, and that's when it becomes a disrespect. And that's when you got to stop investing your energy into these people who are undervaluing you. Because keeping people around like that will keep this energy connected to you, that is what you deserve and all you will ever get. But when you start demanding energy, I demanded energy. I demanded that I'm not settling for no fuck shit. I'm not settling for anyone that can't do the things that I already do for myself, right? If you're not adding on to me, if you're not helping me grow and evolve, you ain't doing nothing for me and I ain't got nothing for you. Because a lot of people just like to come and use your energy and use you. And then they go and they do what they do. Then they get drained and depleted and backed up in the corner, and then they come back. Like, no. What's for you will be for you, and what is not will resist you. There will oh my God, I can't get it out because I'm so, there will be resistance in things that are not meant for you. And I actually spoke about this in one of the readings. Maybe it was the Taurus reading yesterday, or the Capricorn reading. I'm not really sure, but I went in, and it's like sometimes we want to be so right. Sometimes we want to just feel like we know it all. And at the end of the day, no one knows it all. No one knows what's best for you than God, than Spirit. And the things that we may perceive as failures or disappointments are really not. They're saviors. And like I said on that reading, whatever reading it was, I've gotten a new perception of that. And so when things don't work out, I don't sit here and be like, oh, why? Or keep trying to force something to happen. I literally am in this place of like, okay, well, that means that God has something better. That God has something more. Because I can look back at my life logically and see that the things that I may have wanted in the moment of weakness or in the moment of temptation or, feeling insecure of myself, I may have really wanted something or someone in that moment. But now I can look and be like, thank you, God, for not keeping me there with that person or having to deal with that. Because if I wanted half the shit that I wanted back in my past, I probably would have been wrung through the dirt like someone's fucking working shoes. Okay? Like a contractor's working shoes, just fucking nasty. Okay, I know okay. Getting a little explicit, sorry. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, now is the time to adapt new perceptions on things and not see things so much as a failure or a disappointment or a mark against you doing or succeeding at something and see it like, no, God is just preparing you for something way more than that because you're worthy of something more than that. Maybe you didn't get that call back. Maybe you didn't get that position you wanted. Maybe you didn't get that house or that car that you wanted because God has something more for you. Right? And that's the example I used in the reading was it was a time after I got my car repossessed during my first divorce. And I was trying to get a car and no one wanted to help me. No one wanted to help co-sign with me. And I was feeling hopeless. Like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And then I ended up getting a cash car. And in that moment, I could have been a little stuck up person. Okay. I would say I grew up with money. Did I grow up filthy rich? No. But I didn't grow up struggling. And that I can admit. And I know old me in high school probably would have been like, I'm not driving no car, no cash car. Because that was who I was back then, unconscious and being very materialistic like my mother raised me to be. I mean, I had a BMW in high school. And now I just look back at that and it's just like, ugh, that was so unhealthy. That was such an unhealthy parenting of like, your value is determined based off of the material things that you have. But that, my mother's a Virgo and she likes her material things. It makes her feel like she's more valuable. And so I kind of adapted that mindset, right? And so if I had not gone through the things that I had went through, I wouldn't have realized that God still blessed me with a car to get where I needed to go. And as soon as I started appreciating the little things, I was in that car maybe for like 3 months. And then I got a brand new Volkswagen Jetta, and then I had that car for a couple months and then I got an Audi, and after that damn Audi, I don't really care about luxury cars anymore because, I had a freaking problem with it. What was it? The alternator had fucking died, but, people want an arm and a leg for it, and I wasn't paying for it. So me and Janae went out there and replaced an alternator and a battery in an Audi and got that bitch back working. And then we decided, it's just not worth it. It's not. We're trying to live our life. We ain't trying to be out here stunting for nobody. So we're very satisfied with our new car, and it's just, But I'm rambling. What I'm saying is, at times it looks like we are behind in life. It looks like we are failing. It looks like we are not where we feel like we should be. And these setbacks are just minor, because the come up is going to be levels above what you're expecting, right? It's like, yeah, God may have blessed somebody with a brand new car, a brand new, whatever, but you can get blessed with two, like, I don't know. My examples are just fading here because, like I said, my energy is just whoop. But the 9 of Wands is going to go into the 10 of Cups, and that's going to speak on, again, you guys we're all moving towards this fulfillment with the 10 of Cups, moving towards the things that are really here to bring us the emotional fulfillment that we have been seeking. And we have to make sure we clear our slate and clear our energy from people and things that have the possibility of ruining that for us. Right? And it's not saying that we are weak to where somebody can say something or do something and throw us off. It's saying that we are sympathetic, that we are conscious, living, feeling, emotionally breathing people, or as some people say, empaths, to where we can't help but to care. But that's why you have to acknowledge the darkness that is being shown. You have to acknowledge the unhealthiness that is surfacing. You have to acknowledge the toxic traits and ways that people are giving off or putting out or are doing, because if you're connected to it, it's affecting you too. Right? It's like the company you keep. You are the company that you keep. And that's why it's important to be around like-minded people who are doing the things that you want to do, right? Instead of sitting here chilling, connecting with people that are doing the same thing that they've always done and that you are so far beyond removed from, you start getting with people who are doing the things that you want to do, living the kind of life that you want to live. And, that's how you start attracting new things and new energy, not dealing with the same old things that you already know about and the same old people that's going to continue to do what they do. Okay? Because the King of Pentacles is here under the 9 of Swords. And like I said, the 9 of Swords is, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, a lot of just mental energy that is all locked up and combined, right? Because what they're showing me from this 9 of Swords is like a person with dreadlocks. Some of you may not know about dreadlocks and care, but if you keep dreads in one place too long, like let's say you pull them all up in a ponytail and you don't touch them for a couple days, a week, or a couple weeks, they're going to start locking. They're all going to start locking up, and it's going to be hard to separate them. And then eventually, if you don't ever touch it, it's going to turn into one big ass lock. Okay. And that ain't cute, but that's what your thoughts are doing. They're kind of all tangled up to the point where if you don't release them and let them out, whether you're journaling these thoughts, whether you are saying the things that you need to say instead of saying them in your head and releasing that mental energy, you're going to be stuck unless you choose to release it, is what I'm saying. Because your mind is going triple time trying to configure something when whatever it is you're trying to figure out is not for you to figure out. That's why it's so confusing. All you need to do in this moment is acknowledge the truth of things, the truth of people, the truth of yourself, And God is handling everything else in between that. But you have to make sure that you, before you go into this new place, this new stage in your life, you are releasing yourself from the things and the people that have a possibility of holding you back because they're lacking growth, because they're choosing to stay where they are. All right. So you guys have new beginnings here. We do have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And to clarify that, you got the Eight of Cups. So yeah, see, that's what this whole spread is saying. You have to give up something in order to gain something. And in this case, you're giving up the things that are not healthy for you, that are not serving you. Because believe me, whatever this energy is, they're waiting for you. They, like I told you guys in previous episodes, people who are low vibrating from or vibrating from dark energy, they can see your light before you can. Okay? They can see you from around the corner and down the block. They can sniff out your light, basically. It's like being in a pitch black room. Even if you have the tiniest of a nightlight, you're still going to get some sort of light or shadow, right? Right. Whereas it's going to be hard to find darkness illuminated. Well, it's going to be hard for darkness to conform in a place of all light. So they're going to try to dim your light so that they can fit in, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So I was trying to give you guys a visual. But once light is let in the room, it's bright. I open these windows, it's bright as hell in here, right? Even if you open the windows at night in the darkness, it's still dark. Misery loves company. People who, hurt people because they want them down in that dark place with them as well. The light blinds them. It's like walking outside after being in a dark room all day and just like your eyes have to adjust or they hurt or, it's too bright. Y'all making people like, oh, your light is too bright. It's making my eyes burn because they can't take that shit. So you got to walk away from that in order to truly embrace the beauty, the light that you hold within yourself. Everything that you have come into you is everything that you've been working hard for, that you've been working your ass off for behind closed doors, going through the trials and tribulations and trauma and unprogramming, the things that people don't get to see on a daily basis. Right? Most people, they try to figure out, how come this person gets this or how come they get to have this? And I had a few people saying, well, Kayla's getting married again. I haven't even got married once. Like, why? You don't even understand the shit that I went through in between that first divorce and where I am now. And I guarantee you the same people that's saying that shit couldn't have even dealt with half of what I experienced in between that time. And I didn't let that shit turn me hard. I didn't let it turn me dark. I still chose love at the end of the day. And that's what I got back. Some people out here just sprue and they hate their jealousy, their enviness, their little nasty toxicity all around people. And you get that shit right back. So if you ever see a person and wonder why are things so, I guess you can't even think that way because I guess people can look at our lives and be like, well, shit's kind of fucked up for them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person did something wrong. Sometimes those fucked up things that appear on the outside are really lessons that are taking that person to levels that are unimaginable, right? You may be down and out one day and not have nothing. And then God turns the situation around and you end up having everything. That's why you should never judge a book by its cover. And that's why you should never put people down. It's like how we all have seen in movies or how they say people like would pick on the nerd in high school, and then that nerd ended up being their like boss later on in life. Like, that shit's real. You sit here and you doubt and you downplay God's people and people who are truly doing the right thing and the good thing. The joke is going to be on you. And everyone gets tired and fed up at some point. Some people have to get drugged through the dirt a little more than others. But everybody gets fed up. All right? So, Eight of Cups is you moving away from all of that. From everything. I mean, every single thing. Every single one that's not serving you. Like me, I'm about to go back through my Instagram and unfollow people. I already don't follow that many people, and it's not anything personal. I'm very picky about what I see on my timeline. So I know that there's people that I followed and I have unfollowed, and it's not because I have any problem with you. Some stuff just wasn't resonating with me. But this time, it's intentional. There are people I need to remove off my social media because these people have a stuck perception of who I'm supposed to be. And they're just a consistent reminder of things that I don't want to feel anymore, right? This person looks at my story and I can just tell they're like, Kayla out there just, I don't need that, okay? Because you still doing the same thing that you was doing when I left Dallas, Texas 4 years ago, but you got the audacity to talk. So you leave those things, you leave those people, everything that's not serving you. My whole past doesn't serve me at all. Not one person from it, not anything from it. I got all the lessons that I needed from it, and now I can take that with me moving forward and apply it and not have to deal with that shit again. That's how you got to start looking at it. Don't look at everything as like, oh, it's a loss, or I'm losing out on this, or you're never losing. As long as you got God on your side, you're winning. And whatever you feel or perceive as a loss, God will replace times 2. All right. So the journal question I have for you guys is just one. And it says, what lessons have you learned in the past that you can take with you into the future? My answer to that, one lesson I've learned from my past that I can take into my future that will be beneficial for me is to not be as reactive and to understand that, again, hurt people, and that's nothing that I need to take on personally. And as long as I'm doing things that are the best for me in my life, I don't owe anyone else any explanation, and I don't have to conform in order to be accepted, right? Acceptance is an illusion as well. You only feel really accepted when you accept yourself. So that was your journal question. What lessons have you learned in the past that you can take into your future? Whatever those lessons are, they will help you not have to go and experience those things that you have went through and relive pain, right? We're all about moving forward, so we're not reliving things that are meant to set us back. That's how the devil energy works here. Let me consistently trigger her or him. Let me consistently bring up something that may remind them of a traumatic time in their life so that they can get emotionally or mentally stuck in this place and stop moving. Now is about moving. Now is about you gaining momentum. We entered 2020 on a healing tip, right? So your affirmations, we have 3. And the first one says, I am forever evolving into something better. The second one is, I am open to new experiences. And your last affirmation is, I am willing to see things in a new way. All right. Thank you guys for listening to this entire podcast. I almost talked for an hour. Again, I truly appreciate you guys giving me, this platform to be able to vent and talk and just be real. even though I slightly do it in my readings anyway. But now it's a more relaxed thing, and I appreciate you guys who do tune in and do listen. It means a lot to me, and know that I love you guys, and I see you, and I am sending that love and support right back to you. All right. So if you guys want to book a private video reading with me, you can. Okay. You know, I got to throw my pitch in there. Let's just be real. Okay. If I don't do it, if I don't speak up, if we don't speak up, people ain't going to be, come on now. All right. So, no, really, if you want to take advantage of the $40 special on video readings, again, you can do a love reading, a self-focus reading, or you can ask 2 questions of your own, and you can make that payment in the link that is provided in the description box, or wherever the link is, wherever you're looking. It's a Linktree address, and the first little thing that pops up should be the limited offer. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day, and I will talk to you later.